Okay, let's say and hope that Britain leaves the EU. What happens next? Well, in my opinion, we need a written UK constitution. And here's why. Yes, I have lived in America. All countries have good things and bad things. So what I'm doing is cherry picking. And I care about the UK, the land of my birth. I'm English. That's fine. So we have a problem in this country. Any 10, 11, 12-year-old kid in America and in Sweden, they understand the constitution of their countries. They know, in principle, how their government is supposed to function. You ask anybody in the UK, they have no idea. People will say, oh, there is a UK constitution. It's just buried in 1,000 pages of whatever laws and what have you. There is a UK constitution. No, there isn't. There needs to be one written constitution. This is a copy of the US constitution, okay? And a whole bunch of commentary about it. One document, all right? This is what the UK needs. And be a good opportunity to lay down in one document, maybe two, if you want to split it up, how UK politics should work and the checks and balances which are important to a democracy. In the UK, let's take the three pillars, branches of government. The legislative branch, upper and lower house. Their job is to pass laws, okay, legislation. Second branch is the executive. In America, it's the president and all his people. In the UK, it is, the Prime Minister, the leader of the legislative branch. Oh, but don't worry, we have a third branch, which is a check and balance on the other two, the judiciary. How many times have we been told the judiciary have to follow the law? Okay, so that means there are no checks and balances. Whoever's in power with a big enough majority can do whatever the hell they want. There are no checks and balances in this country. What is the equivalent, forget Europe, what is the equivalent to the Supreme Court in this country? It took me 2 months of research to figure it out. Something called Chancery Court. Where's Chancery Court? Buried in some High Court district burr in London. Nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody knows how it works. What happens in America when the legislative branch get all hot under their collar about some issue which is a big drama and they're going to appease their electorate? They pass a stupid law. They know that the Supreme Court is going to say, oh, it's unconstitutional, throw it out. Might take a little while, but it's going to happen. There's a check and balance. Now, who's checking and balancing on all those three if they get it wrong? Unofficially, it's what's called the Fourth Estate. What is the Fourth Estate? The press. That's why the US has the First Amendment to the Constitution, freedom of the press, because their primary responsibility is to check and balance the other three branches of government. In this country, the press is gagged. D-notices, blah, 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 I can't discuss this, national security, blah, blah, blah. That just lets the government get away with what they want. There needs to be freedom of the press. In the UK, there is not freedom of the press. The politicians have been interfering with the press. It is wrong. It's a fundamental flaw in democracy in this country. The UK needs a written constitution. Now, in that constitution, if you read the US one, okay, that's the main one that I'm basing this on. Oh no, America's terrible. Anyway, there are a few things that need sorted. Basically, the Constitution is for the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and its Crown dependencies and overseas territories. That is what the Constitution should comprise, and the relationship between them. So, within that Constitution, it'll describe the three branches of power in the UK, for the UK, legislative branch, executive, judicial. Okay? It will also describe the parliaments, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. What are we missing? We're missing a UK parliament, an English parliament. That English parliament, should be based in Manchester. Picked it because it's north. North needs rejuvenation. Get all the stuff out of London. It's too crowded anyway. The UK parliament can be in London. English parliament be in Manchester. Makes sense. In that document would also define the powers of the Isle of Man, Jersey, the other Crown dependencies, and the British overseas territories and their relationship, and it could even describe something to do with the Commonwealth, for completeness' sake. The UK needs a written constitution one document, maybe Bill of Rights as well. Right now, in this country, the police can stop your vehicle for no reason whatsoever and ask to see your papers. In America, and in my opinion, they need probable cause in order to stop a vehicle, to stop you in the street. They require probable cause. If they don't have it, it's an illegal stop. These are fundamental rights. The UK, effectively, with the wrong police, the wrong politicians in power, is wide open to exploitation. We need to close that gap. Also, the US does not follow the Geneva Convention. Why not? Because the House and the Senate have not ratified it. So, any laws, European laws, if we had a UK constitution, which are passed, and hopefully we can get rid of all the rubbish that's there once we leave, in order for them, anything to take effect from the outside, politician, prime minister, whatever, can go and sign whatever agreement they want, but until that agreement has been ratified in the upper and lower house and the upper house, the upper house probably needs some reform as well, because it should be elected and it should be reduced the number of people in it, but let's not get into detail. The principle is the UK needs a written constitution. Once we're out of the EU, if we can manage to get a UK constitution, written constitution in place, we'll be secure from any other nonsense in the future that we've got ourselves into. This is a mess. The reason we got into this mess is because we don't have a constitution. We'll get into many more messes if we don't have one written constitution that a 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid in school can read about, understand, and then they'll be able to contribute to society, politically. Right now, it's a confused mishmash nonsense with a fundamental lack of foundation. There's no underpinning. There's no theoretical foundation for how the UK political system, society works. We're missing, we have sand right now. What we need is a firm foundation, and oh no, we'll end up like America. Well, no, we won't, because we're different from Americans. Americans have a good foundation. Hopefully, we won't mess it up quite the same way, but at least they have a foundation to stand on. We don't. We need to fix that. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy this contribution. Thank you. Bye.